is so Katie. Hey guys, it's Katie K. Let's talk K-dramas. Today we're talking about The King's Affection, and this is the post-watch review. So that means there are spoilers in this video. So if you haven't seen the drama, then your best bet is probably to hop off of this video and go to the pre-watch review, which is just talking about the drama in general, no spoilers, and it's there to help you decide if this is a drama you would like to watch. So, if you haven't seen it, this is your warning. There are spoilers ahead. A lot of spoilers. So, let's get into it. So, a little bit of background. I watched The King's Affection pretty recently. I think I mentioned in my pre-watch video, I saw it come up and the premise looked really exciting, and also it just looked visually really beautiful, both of which turned out to be correct. So I was glad that I watched this K-drama because I think it's really good. So, let's talk ratings. So for every K-drama that I watch, I give it a score out of 100. I have 10 categories that I rate each K-drama in, 1 out of 10. And then I add all of those scores up together, and I get the score out of 100. And so we're just going to go through each category, talk about the score that I gave, why I gave that, and any other pertinent details to that category. So let's get started. The first category is the plot. Well, I found the plot pretty good. I feel like they did a good job foreshadowing and building up to the important moments that they needed to. There were a few times where something felt like it kind of came out of left field, and those came across like a little awkwardly, but overall, like pretty good. I would say the pacing was a little bit awkward at some points, both at the beginning and then at the end. So like during the body of the story, it was like really good, but I felt like they had a lot of exposition at the beginning. Like they could have cut that by a third and still gotten the point across. And there was just a lot of cuts, like long cuts of people crying, where there was just a lot of times where we were just sitting there watching someone like weep for like kind of a long time. That part wasn't, I didn't like that. I was like, am I gonna hate this drama? These people are just crying on screen for like several minutes. But it got better. So the beginning was kind of like long, and then the ending had this weird thing that I'm not sure if they did on purpose or not, where I thought the story was about to end. Like I thought it was over and they were like coming to their happy ending, but there's still like some suspense and drama, and then it was like, no, it's not over. This is like episode 10. There's still like a lot that's gonna happen. And I was like, okay. Like I feel like I've been running a 5K and I thought I was almost to the finish line, and then I just saw like a mile marker and I'm like only halfway there. Like I was a little bit like, whew, really? There's more? I mean, I guess it's okay, but like, wow. So that was like, the pacing was weird just at the beginning, and then like at that point where I was like, what? And then once I kind of caught up again, like was like, okay, we're still going. It was good. So one thing that I thought was interesting about the plot was I really, really was not sure if they were going to get a happy ending. Like the part of me that has watched like 30 plus K-dramas was like, they're gonna get a happy ending. But the part of me that was watching this drama like happening and unfolding in front of me, I was like, what if they don't though? Like there's no rule that every K-drama has to end with a happy ending. I was like, I'm worried for them, but I will say I was really glad that they did get their happy ending. I was rooting for them. So the premise of this K-drama is one of the like major reasons I watched it. Because I thought it was just really interesting and like they could have a lot of fun with it. And I feel like they had fun with it. Like they had those like funny, awkward, stressful situations. And they kind of explored like what would that be like what problems would she encounter pretending to be a man and living as the crown prince. There was no point where I was just like blown away by the plot, honestly. Like I was like, okay, all right, I expected that, or I didn't expect that, but okay. But like overall it was pretty good. So I'm giving the plot an 8 out of 10. So for the plot, 8 out of 10 points. All right, let's keep going. Next category is ending satisfaction, which just means, was I satisfied with the ending? Did I feel like it felt complete? Did I find it to be like everything I wanted to see in an ending, or did it kind of leave me hanging? So I feel like there was good ending satisfaction. They did get their happy ending, and they showed them on the beach, and they were still seeing Court Lady Kim and her cousin. Like it wasn't just that they got their happy ending and then moved away from everybody that they knew and loved. They were still living close enough to like have contact with those people who survived, that they knew from their like past life, before they got to be together. She got to live her life as a girl. So that part I like didn't even think of as a possibility. It made me really happy, because I feel like I used to be satisfied with endings that were just about like the romantic partner, but as I've gotten older I realized like it's not just about like you and your love staring into each other's eyes for the rest of your life. Like you still have a family, you still have friendships, and those should be important to you, and they are important. And so like the fact that they showed that in this, awesome, loved it. Okay, I understand why they killed the little young prince. They were showing how like terrible of people the like evil cousin and the uncle guy were. Grandfather. They were showing how evil they were. They were showing what lengths they would go to acquire the crown. They were doing this and that, and they also needed to clear the way for Hyun to be the king, which he couldn't do if baby Prince Gyum was alive. But like, I just wish they didn't kill him. I wish he could have just like given up his position or something and like lived happily. He never asked for any of this. He's like a child. Also so cute. So baby. He reminds me of baby Jungkook. Like, they have like a similar nose and like round doe-eyed look. Like, it was just too much for them to kill him off. I didn't like that. Okay. Also, I knew the whole time that like she wasn't going to just continue to be the king. Like at the end, someone else was going to be king. And I was like, I guess it's going to be the baby prince, and she can like advise him and it'll be good. it just never occurred to me that Hyun was like in line for the throne, because he was so far back in line for the throne. Like, so many people had to die for him to become king, and they all died. And I was like, oh yeah, he's the only logical choice out of all of these characters to be the king. And so I was like, yes. Yes. Also, I love him so much. So anyway, yeah, like, I was really pleased with how they finagled that he could be the king at the end. So in light of all of that, I gave Ending Satisfaction a 9 out of 10. Felt like I was really pleased with the way they gave me closure, and not just like they kiss at the end and that means everything's okay, but like I got to see them like by the ocean, and he got her the like hair pen thing. It was cute, and then they saw their like friends and family. Like, what more could I ask for, honestly, in an ending, except for the baby prince to be alive? So 9 out of 10, 1 point off for Gyum. May he rest in peace. The next category is character development. I feel like some K-dramas, the characters don't develop. They just hang out and the things around them change. I don't like that. So we have this category. First of all, the person who impressed me the most in terms of character development was Jiyeon's father. To like see him as this monster and then hear him like hinting at different points, talking to different people like I didn't have a choice, like I didn't get to choose my own path, like it was chosen for me, and now I just do this in order to protect you. But him kind of coming to grips with like his son saying like it's still not okay. Him playing both sides because he wants to do the right thing, and he's not willing to let fear hold him back from doing the right thing anymore. So I really appreciated that, and his whole like character arc was really interesting. Honestly, like if they had started it a little earlier, I would have liked that, because when they started spending time on him, I was like, he's already dead to me. Like, why are they doing this? Like, just kill him off or make him totally evil. Like, I think he had a really, 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 really rough start. He was never likable to me at any point. But I do think every person is capable of redemption. Obviously, there's a lot of nuance to that. But just like as a general rule, and especially in TV shows, I think it's nice to see a good redemption arc, and I felt like that was one. So also, I realized when I was like kind of making my notes for this section, like if you count from the time when they were kids, then our male lead, Jung Cheon, had this whole like character growth moment when they were kids, and like she mentioned like, yeah, like they're too poor to have a doctor or whatever, and then he like became a doctor later. Like he met one girl and like then learned how to care about poor people. Cool. Glad you made that your entire personality and life because one girl one time told you that. It's the power of first love, I guess. So anyway, I just thought that was like funny that like, yeah, he has this whole like growth from being like, he's like, I'm a nobleman's son, I don't know anything about the world, and it's whatever. Like, he's not like, I don't care, but he's like, whatever, I don't know anything. And she's like, oh, it's hard for some people. And he's like, all right, bet, I'ma help them. And he does. But really my only note about the main characters and their like character development was I felt like she grew a lot in learning how to let people into her circle and trust people and not always expect the absolute worst from them. I feel like she had a whole development of like learning how to trust people and let them into her circle, and like from the beginning of her like showing her as an adult and how many people she trusted to the end, like she had a whole little posse at the end that was helping her out that she would never have succeeded without them. And it was just really, it was cool seeing her like with her very, very reasonable trust issues, learning to like open up to people a little bit. I don't know. So for character development, I gave an 8 out of 10. I didn't feel like Jian developed that much aside from when we weren't seeing him between being a child and then an adult. But he did kind of grow in his understanding of her, which is a form of development, I think. It just wasn't like his own character, I didn't feel like. So 8 out of 10 because it was fine. Nothing blew me away except his father. That was cool. Anyway, let's move on to the next category, which is music. It didn't really stand out to me. I felt like it fit really well. But I'll just say like none of it was like super catchy. I didn't find myself looking up songs from this drama ever. I don't like listen to it now, which I do with a lot of dramas. Like I'll listen to the music later. After I finished watching it because I liked it so much and it like reminds me of the drama. Like this one I'm like, I don't remember the music. It wasn't memorable in a bad way, but it also wasn't memorable in a good way. Like I do remember they used it well to aid in the storytelling. I do remember that, and so for that and it not being distracting, not being bad at all, I am going to give it a 7 out of 10. So music is 7 out of 10. Nothing super special, but definitely not bad. All right, our next category is chemistry. So for the main couple, the chemistry, it was really fun chemistry. I felt like because it was like kind of playful and also like forbidden love because like, you know, so I feel like they had fun with that, which I enjoyed. There was some good tension, some like longing stares, some pining, which love me some good pining. So one thing that I liked was that I feel like they really suit each other well because neither of them are in like a super, like they're not living the life that is expected of them. You know, like she is living as a prince and a king, and he is living as like an apothecary for poor people. Like he's scrounging for like medicinal herbs in the forest, and, like groveling in front of a lady and trying to like find this thing. When like they're at the same level in society based on like their family status. So I thought that was like a cool, like neither of them are really who they were supposed to be, but they both do it really well and it fits their personalities and they both acknowledge that of each other, and like that's just like gives them a kind of strength in their relationship that I think is cool. Sorry, but I don't think that they're like physical affection, hugs and kisses and that were super full of chemistry. Like I feel like their pining had chemistry, their dating had less chemistry. But when they would like fight for each other, like physically sword fight or like, you know, emotionally fight for each other, like that's where their chemistry was. But when they're like kissing, nah. Okay, let's briefly talk about her cousin, Jaeun, the good cousin, Hyun. So, that subplot would have been super cute, but I had so many questions. At first I was like, he thinks she's a man and that he's his cousin, but he's in love with her. And then I was like, he thinks this is not his cousin, but he does know that she's a girl. And at that point I was like, okay, like that's not weird. He's like, this is just some girl. Because it wasn't like totally clear that he knew that she was like the twin. So like maybe they just found some girl and now she's the crown prince. I don't know. I had that thought and I was like, okay, like that makes sense. He thinks that she's just some girl who's not related to him. But no. He knows that she's a girl and that she's his cousin, I think. And he's still in love with her. Which, at that time, like while I was watching, I was like, maybe they're trying to do a thing of like, yeah, people married their cousins in the olden days to like preserve bloodlines. I was still uncomfortable with it, but I was like, I think that maybe that's what they're doing. But like, no. They didn't do that in Korea. It was like super no. Literally, like, you couldn't marry someone who had the same last name as you until like the mid-90s, 1990s. Because that meant you were from the same clan, which meant you could be related to each other. It was possible that you were related to each other. Like, nope. Nope. It was not. It's a no. So, like, even when it grew to be where, like, it wouldn't be people marrying their cousins, it was still not allowed. So the fact that they were like, it's his cousin, didn't actually make sense to me. If there's something I'm missing and, like, leave me a comment and explain it. But I was like, he's in love with his cousin? That's so yucky to me. Like, I don't know. So I was bummed out because I love him. He's amazing. I like him more than I like Jian. Not that I dislike Jian, but when it was like showing everybody as like adults, you know, like I got confused and I was like, wait, so which actor is the male lead? Because this guy is way more handsome than this other guy. I don't know. I often have a thing for the like competing male lead in the dramas, I guess, where I think that they're more handsome, because it happens sometimes. I wanted it to be him until I realized he was her cousin, and then I was like, it better not be. Of course it wouldn't, but like, I was like, I love him as a character except for that. Okay, so because of all of that I've just said, for the chemistry, I gave a score of 7 out of 10. Okay, let's move on. So the sub-couple story is like the couple that's not the main couple, but it's like some side characters who also fall in love. And honestly, I was like racking my brains, like, I don't think there is a sub-couple. And then I remembered, like, at the very end, just like shoved into the last like 2 episodes or something for like 2 seconds, the like mysterious bodyguard guy and then the girl who works at the like apothecary place with Jian had like a thing, and they were like falling in love, and like it was cute, but like it was like 2 seconds. I was like, I would have liked if you had started like developing this like 500 years ago and not right now like while the end credits are rolling, basically. Anyway, that's just me. I feel like they could have done a better job with that. They were cute. I would have liked to have seen them actually become a couple and actually like have a conversation. So, it just kind of felt tacked on at the end. I'm giving it a 4 out of 10 because they were cute and it wasn't gross. Like, them being together was not gross. So 4 out of 10 for sub-couple story. All right, our next category is the acting. I would just like to start with Scribe Jung Jian. He was kind of silly sometimes, and it did get a little old, like, so, like, this is not a moment that I didn't like, but as time went on and, like, more things like this happened, I was like, okay, I'm a little over it. Like, but this is the, like, most potent example I can think of is, like, when he realizes, like, I'm in love with the crown prince, and he's, like, looking at her, and he's, like, I was, like, haha, like, that was kind of funny. And he does, like, more stuff in a similar vein, and I was like, okay, it's a bit much now. So I felt like his acting was a little silly, but it wasn't, like, terrible. I did like his longing look sometimes, though. Like, he's got a look that, like, when he looks and it's, like, love struck and, like, pining and, like, all the things. It's like, yeah, that's a look that, like, it makes you want to have someone who's enamored with you, who's, like, love struck, who's, like, pining after you with all their, like, heart and soul. Like, I was like, yeah, I could go for that anytime. That look works. So good job on that. Also, I found her very believable and like a understated kind of subtle way with her acting. I was like, I like it. I can clearly tell when she's being a man, like, it was really good. And on that note, the girl who played her and her brother did an amazing job. I was like, I feel like I'm watching two different actors. Like, her demeanor was, like, really different. And then she was playing her other character, trying to play her other character, but doing it kind of poorly. And I was like, she's so good. I was so impressed. So, loved that. Loved her. She's amazing. Her name is right here. This is her name. I'm gonna put it right here. Okay. Okay, this is random, but she reminds me of Millie Bobby Brown. I don't know why. Like, I feel like she's like the Korean Millie Bobby Brown. Just in vibes and possibly looks. I don't know why. Anyway. And then I also just loved Court Lady Kim. I don't have anything specific to say. I just, like, I loved her performance and it was great. So, for acting, I give it a 9 out of 10. My complaints were very small. And overall, I found all of the characters, like, pretty believable. I felt like they were, like, the casting was done well. And they really, like, fell into their characters well. So, 9 out of 10 for acting. Next category is costumes, which, if you'll remember, that's one of the main reasons I decided to watch this K-drama, was because I was looking at the, like, visuals, especially the hanbok, and they did not disappoint. They were beautiful, stunning, well made, from what I could tell. And they suited the actors and actresses well, too. Like, I feel like they did a good job with the colors and the, like, it looked good. It made their skin look great. Like, kind of brought them out. Like, I wonder if they, like, typed their color seasons and then, like, had them wear clothes within their color season or something, because, like, really they were glowing in those colors, each individually. And oh, I love Hanbok so much. This category is kind of unfair to the, like, modern K-dramas, because Hanbok will always get better reviews for me. Like, because they're just amazing and beautiful, and I want to stare at them always. So the historical K-dramas have an advantage on that front. And especially the queen, not the queen mother, but the new queen who married a crown prince. I forget her name in the drama. The queen, you know. She's gorgeous, by the way. And her, like, hanbok and the, like, hairpins and the jewelry, like, I was like, wow. Yeah. Loved it. So hers especially, I was just like, wow. Okay. So for costumes, I gave a 10 out of 10. I had no complaints. There was nothing that I was like, eh. Unso's emo bang was, like, kind of funny, but it didn't bother me. And that's not, it's like hair and makeup. I'll lump it in with costumes though. Anyway, so 10 out of 10 for costumes. Next, we have details. So details is just a section of, like, little things that are good or that are bad. Or if nothing stuck out to me, good or bad, you know. So the first thing I will say, which is something I wrote down, like, in the first episode, when they would pan across scenery, like, you know, like, show something, you know, like forest or, like, mountain or palace, whatever, they went so fast. Just get it. And I'm like, that's what it felt like. It felt like someone was like that fast. So it hurt my eyes. I didn't like it. So I didn't like that. Fortunately for me, it didn't happen that often, so I didn't really have to worry about it. But, like, I was literally kind of, like, reeling, like, what? Every time it happened, like, my eye muscles can't keep up with that. I'm too old. Anyway, so that was, like, the first detail thing that I noticed. I was like, that's not a good detail. So that was really the only thing, detail-wise. It was not a good one, but, like, none of the other details really stuck out to me as good or bad. So for details, I gave a score of 6 out of 10. Okay, and now our final category, which is not too corny. I love some cheese. I love some corn in K-dramas. And I know by their nature, K-dramas are corny. But when it gets to be too much, and I just am waiting for it to be over, that's, you've lost me there. But I can't stop watching a K-drama. So I'm then stuck watching it and suffering. And that's why I make these, so you don't have to suffer. You can watch the pre-watch and I will tell you if it's too corny. Anyway. So for not too corny, I feel like historical K-dramas can tend to the really, like, corny side. If they're not, like, being really serious. And so I was glad that it wasn't overly corny. There were some parts that felt like a little bit too much. Like, there was some, like, dumb humor, which I have yet to find a K-drama that doesn't have a little bit. Like, those characters that are just kind of idiots a little bit. Or, like, moments that are just like, okay, we could have done without that. So it was alright. So it's basically just Jian's silliness sometimes, and then those moments like when all the scribes were scrambling to like hide things. I don't remember what they were hiding or like what they were doing. They were all scrambling around, and it was like they were hungover. I don't remember that moment super clearly, like at just like off the top of my head. But I do remember being like when is this gonna be over? Can we just get back to the important story that's happening that's actually interesting? So that was my thought. Those were the only things I noticed about corniness. So for Not Too Corny, I gave a score of 7 out of 10. It wasn't very corny, but there were a few things where I was like, overall good though. Okay, so that is all of the categories. Now that we have all of our scores, let's add them all together and see what the final score for this K-drama is. So adding up all of the scores from the 10 categories, I'm giving this K-drama a 75 out of 100. I feel like that accurately represents this K-drama, how good it is overall, like as a score. So yeah, 75 out of 100. Solid C. Very good. Okie dokie. Now it's time for notable moments that I want to talk about. So, first of all, it took me so long to figure out, like several episodes, to figure out where I knew Kami from. And she's literally Ju-on from Hello My 20s, but she was like, her demeanor was so different. Her costumes, her hair, her makeup, like everything was so different. I literally was like, I finally came to the conclusion that like she must just look like those edits that I've seen where people make the BTS members look like girls. Like she kind of looks like some of the J-Hope edits. I was like, it's not super like similar, but like that must be what I recognize her from, because like I don't think I've seen her in anything. I'm a fool. I've literally watched that other K-drama like 5 times. But she's just so different. So she's Ju-on. And more correctly, she is this person. Also, the actress who played the grandmother, it took me not nearly as long, but it did take a moment to like place her. She's the mom from all of the Reply dramas. She's the actress who plays the mom, and I love her. She's really great, and seeing her as this like powerful queen was awesome. I was really sad when she died. So I never realized how much I would enjoy seeing a leading man who's like an apothecary. Like he's got all the like hanging bags, like going out into the forest to like dig for plants and stuff, and it's like all organized, and like he's just a gentle person, like a gentle man, not gentleman, but like a gentle man. He's also a gentleman, but and I just feel like that's kind of the vibes. Like those are the kind of men that we stan in 2021. Like a kind and gentle man who like could keep a plant alive and wants to listen to you talk about your feelings and talk about his as well. Those are the vibes that I get. Okay, the moment when we found out that the king knew all along and had been protecting her, like the king, her father, had been protecting Tommy and like keeping her secret safe, not trying to like make her get married, like, and also like planned that whole thing to let her like go live her life and be like a woman and like have a life that she can actually live. Like, when I tell you I cried, I loved that. Like, should he have told her that he knew? Yes. That would have taken so much stress off of her. But he was like there for her the whole time, even when she didn't know. Honestly, like, just finding out how many people were in her corner the whole time who knew and who were like protecting her and loving her, and like they knew, and they knew that she chose not to tell them, and they were like yeah, that's good. That was just really heartwarming. Okay, now it's time for one of my favorite parts, which is let's admire the beautiful people, because K-dramas are full of gorgeous people every time. Let's admire them for their gorgeous beauty. Of course, Tami, Hui, Yeonsun. She goes by many names. Beautiful. Jongjian, Scribe Jung. He has more names as well, but him. Then of course, the hot cousin, good old Hyun. Then we have our bodyguard, Eunso. And then we have Hagyung, I think is her name, who becomes the queen. Also the Dowager Queen. Also Hagyung's friend, I think she's Lady Kim. I'll check. Just beautiful people, gorgeous faces, very talented. Yes. Alright, well, that's all I have for you today. If you have any thoughts or comments about my ratings that I gave for this K-drama, or you have a recommendation for the next K-drama I should review, go ahead and just leave a comment down below. I would love to see it. And if this is the kind of content that you want to be seeing, go ahead and subscribe and hit me with a like. Check back next Friday, and we'll talk K-dramas. I'm a nobleman's son and I don't know anything about the world. I'm going to say that again, not in that voice. I'm giving this K-drama a 75 out of 10. Out of 10. And now is the chance for editing me to add anybody that I forgot. So toss them up, me, if I forgot anybody. But yeah, I think that's everything. Alright, I think that's all I needed.